My BF, M24, says I, f20, manipulated him during sex. Help me understand what he means? My BF and I have been together for 8 months. For the past 6, we've had a pretty solid sex life. We have sex 23 times a week and pretty much every time we spend the night together. Everything was fine. Well, a few days ago he asked me if I was happy with everything. I said yes, and told him that sex for me is less about having orgasms and more about just being with him. He was offended, I think, and then asked me I looked forward to sex with him. I didn't know how to answer and just shrugged. He then started to get really angry, asking me if we'd have sex if he didn't initiate it. I said yeah, probably, but not as much. He then asked me if I was really enjoying myself. I reiterated that I like being with him. So yes, I enjoy myself. And even if I don't, it's never bad. He heard, even if I don't, and ran with it. He started going on and on about me not consenting, and not enjoying it. And started to say how he feels like he's taking advantage of my inability to say no. I don't think that's true. At all. But he's been pretty upset about it. He refuses to have sex with me again until I can explain what I meant. But I thought I did? IDK. Why does he feel this way? I'm so confused. Middle-aged woman here. It sounds to me like he's both surprised and offended, hurt that you haven't been enjoying the sex. You guys have as much as he does, as much as he thought you were. Your non-committal response, shrug, to him asking if you looked forward to sex with him is actually pretty harsh. I'd be devastated if my partner reacted that way to me. He seems to feel that you're just going along with him wanting to have sex because you feel you should. Inability to say no. A lot of young women do not have a well-developed understanding of their sexuality. What they desire. What they most enjoy. How to give and receive attention with their partner in an open way. Is that true for you? Also, young women can sometimes be people-pleasing in sexual encounters. Have you been letting him think you're more into it, turned on than you are? Not necessarily in a malicious way, but to make him feel good, loved? Have you faked orgasms? He may be frightened of this. Is he the kind of lover who is interested in pleasing you? If so, maybe asking him to explore with you more so you can find out more about what really gets you into it might be a shared pathway forward. Also, it's hard to get over the awkwardness of wanting to make the other person feel good even if you're not as into it as them. I know it was for me and lots of other women I know. Sadly, there's plenty of young men that don't handle that very well. But his response to feeling like you aren't having a good time makes me think he might be interested in helping you discover what a good time in bed really is for you. Your partner doesn't want pity sex. He doesn't want sex where you go along with it just for him. He wants someone who is as enthusiastic as he is when it comes to sex. He would rather hear a "no, I'm not in the mood" than a "yes, that's really just a yes, I guess," and not a "hell yeah." Quote, your partner wants to feel desired. He wants passion and excitement from the one he loves and not some "it's not bad." He wants someone who mirrors what he feels when it comes to sex and not someone who would be fine if it wouldn't happen. Pity sex is for many not good sex. Part of sex is the connection. But it's also about sexual attraction and feeling like your partner is crazy about you. If my BF talked to me like this, I'd be a puddle on the floor loudly crying. He wants excitement and enthusiasm, not indifference. Yeah, he heard, even if I don't, because those words came out of your mouth. That would stress me out too. Not sure how it's manipulation, but it's not good. I'd sit down and have an open and honest talk about it. Do you not want to orgasm, or does he just not know how to get you there? If it's the latter, maybe teach him how so that you actually look forward to sex. If it's the former, explain that to him. It can be kind of awkward at first, but it really is worth it in the long run to communicate your needs and desires sexually. Women's pleasure is so overlooked and invalidated in society. Let's flip this a minute. You're now in his spot. Let's say he couldn't get an erection. You ask why. He replies with, it's just so-so. I'm just not into it. It's not about the orgasm. Would you not at all be self-conscious wondering if it's somehow you? And you couldn't turn him on? Because honestly, as a woman myself, if you said no, I wouldn't believe you for a minute. Even the most confident of women would. You're young, so I'm gonna assume you're not very experienced. So sex could still be a bit awkward. And talking about it is probably more awkward, but you have to be open and honest. Whatever it is, he wants you to desire him as much as he desires you. You definitely need an open line of communication. Without communication, a relationship will never work. If sex isn't something you're into, then tell him that. Make it 100% clear it's not him. For example, it's not something I've been into in the past, or if it is him, tell him that. I like it when. Insert here. Or don't like it when. He wants you to have sex with him because you wanna, not because that's something he wants. Put yourself in his shoes. Would you want to sleep with someone who doesn't orgasm but just does it as long as you enjoy? Wouldn't it make you question that something is wrong with you? Why can't you give your partner an orgasm? This has a really easy fix. Communicate with him. Guide him when you guys are doing it to help you reach orgasm. Yeah, as a guy, that would make me go limp as well. Guys want to feel desired too. I'm similar in that I don't really orgasm every time, and it truly doesn't bother me if I do or don't. Like you said, it's about being intimate. My partner is fine with it too, no concerns, because I communicated at the beginning it was more about being with him. The fact that it feels good is an added bonus. My guess is that he was taught that you don't have sex without consent because that is assault or rape. He was taught to respect women and you shrug it off like, whatevs. Maybe that goes against what he believes and he is trying to reconcile it. You should be grateful for a man like this. Some men don't care about no, and some men would just treat you like an object for their own enjoyment. He doesn't seem to be one of them. You made it sound like you just give him sex for his benefit. While you don't really get anything from it, he's not being crazy or overreacting. I think anyone would have had this same reaction. No one wants a partner to, in so many words, admit they don't enjoy it and only give out pity sex. He's looking for enthusiastic consent, and that's not what you can provide. It sounds to me like he's worried that he may not be getting enthusiastic consent from you. As a man, I also worry about this. I never want to feel like I'm taking advantage. He sounds like a good guy. He doesn't want your pity, and now that he knows sex with him is a chore for you, he will behave accordingly so as not to inconvenience you. My husband has felt bad when he can't get me to orgasm. I'm on antidepressants, and I have to reassure him that it's not always about the end result. That I enjoy the physical intimacy even if I can't orgasm. Also, you're 20. You've only been with one person. And you really don't come into your sexual prime until later, emo. I don't think shrugging was right. But I get that his being offended probably shocked you as much as it shocked him to hear you say that. I get it. I didn't have my first orgasm from sex until I was 21, and I had learned how to communicate my needs. His sudden interrogation of you is wrong though. I'm m50 and with some relationships under my belt. One thing I've learned from the women I've been in relationships with is that by far the most guys are very Very focused on the orgasm and not so much on the intimacy and closeness that women value. This is a source of a lot of frustration for both parties. The guys, myself included, although I've gotten more relaxed over the years, will be hell-bent on making sure the girl gets an orgasm or several each time they have sex. Because for most guys that's the sugarcoating and almost invalidates the experience if it doesn't happen. But once you really get intimate and get to know each other, we start understanding each other more and realize that for many girls the intimacy and closeness matters a lot more than the climax. To be honest, I also feel that's more important, even though I do understand and feel how the release is essential for a guy. But your BF is just young and insecure. He will learn if you can stick it out. Did you mean, even if I don't orgasm? Because if so, not saying the orgasm part would be the source of confusion here lol. I'm kinda confused. She likes having sex with him and enjoys the intimacy part more than the orgasming part. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with not finishing or having the big orgasm every time. It's normal to not be in the mood at first, then get into the mood when everything starts. That's literally what foreplay is for. She never said sex was a chore or she doing it just to get over with. She said she likes being intimate even if she doesn't finish. Also, the shrug thing was cause she felt awkward, which is fine. Sometimes when we feel awkward we don't know to say, am I like missing something here? It sounds like he feels hurt that you're not getting there. But instead of, asking what helps get you off, would rather remain hurt that you aren't. If it was a big deal to him, wouldn't he have noticed? Has he ever asked for feedback or just made sure you were ready and satisfied before PIV? Or is he only just realizing now that PIV isn't sufficient? Either way, he is turning this around to how he feels about you not having as many orgasms as him, instead of giving you some. Sounds inequitable.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.